May 29th, 2010. "50,000 people marched on the Arizona State Capitol building in protest of the SB 1070. The protests have spread to Oakland, Chicago, Detroit, New York City. Protests in Arizona have been ongoing. On July 29th, these people blockaded the Maricopa County Jail and were arrested. Some people hung up a banner from a crane in downtown Phoenix. The whole reason I moved to Arizona when the War on Terror started was to train for a career in law enforcement. But I volunteered to defend democracy, not racism. So let me tell you what democracy means where I'm from.
This is Peace Through Education. I'm Ezra Neeson. I'm a certified flight instructor, so I have the same background in education every certified teacher in America does. There are a lot of teachers in my family, too. My dad is a certified teacher, so I got a better education at home than I did at school. They teach you a lot of stuff in school, but they don't really do a whole lot to fit all the information together. That's not a very good way to organize information because it depends on you memorizing a lot of stuff more than it does on showing you how to put it to use. A much better education than memorizing stuff would be one where you learn a fairly small number of ideas and then learn how those ideas connect to each other in different situations. So instead of an education where math, English, history, and everything else were each separate fields of study, you would learn one core body of information, and then math, English, history, and so on would each be a different application of your core education. Well, there are a lot of people in America and around the world who are trying to get a better education system. Here in Arizona and in the Southwest U.S. in general, there are a lot of Mexican students who are trying to get a better education. I've seen a lot of them carrying signs that say "Peace Through Education." They're struggling for equal rights against anti-immigration laws. Well, when you're a minority, you need a good education to be able to get your equal rights because when you're a minority, you can't win elections. So you have to think of something else to do. Right now in Arizona, the governor just passed a law called SB 1070 that said local law enforcement can enforce immigration laws. That's going to lead to racial profiling. All that week, there were a few people standing out in front of the state capitol to support the bill, and a couple thousand Mexican people there to oppose it. I was there when the governor signed the bill. Some of the supporters of the bill were holding up signs that said 70% of Arizonans support the bill. So how are you going to win an election against that? I ran into a friend of mine there at the protest. She's not a Mexican immigrant and she doesn't even speak Spanish. She said she was there to protest because she doesn't want to get stopped by the police for being brown. And that's what all the Mexican people who were protesting the bill were saying. Meanwhile, down in Mexico, there are a lot of people who are protesting the education system there. A lot of farmers are saying that the people who go to college are going there to learn how to drive farmers off their farms. When the teachers went on strike in the city of Oaxaca in 2006, their strike got smashed by the police. But then the next day, a lot more people came out to support the teachers' strike, and they ended up driving the government out of the city completely for 6 months. The people started organizing the city themselves, and the crime rate went down immediately. The teachers started setting up their own education system there so people could learn what they wanted to learn. One place you can find out about this is a book called Teaching Rebellion by Diana Denham and the Casa Collective. Here in the United States, some people are setting up charter schools in the hopes that privatized education will be better than public education. But why bother? You don't need school buildings to get an education. You need a desire to learn and a way to find the information you need. That means a person could run their own charter school right here through the internet for anyone of any country for free.